Hi everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Tea Talk Tuesday. Today, I am going to show you how I make my regular iced tea. Now, I make my iced tea with loose leaf tea, and I like a sweet tea, so my instructions are for that. For my tea, for my regular iced tea, this is the brand of tea I use, and I will provide a link for this below. I actually have it on my Amazon Subscribe and Save because I go through a lot of tea. I love tea. Now I take that tea and I put some of it into a mason jar. It's easier to get it out. And then I have two different ways that I make this. One if I'm making it right away, and one if I'm putting it in the fridge as a concentrate to make later. So if I'm making it for right now, I use my tea scoop, and this is a tea scoop I got from Teavana. Obviously you can't get those anymore. I will look and see if I can find something similar on Amazon. But I use 5 scoops of tea. 2, 3, 4, 5 in my French press. And that's for if I'm making it now. The other way is if I'm making it for later is I have these tea sacks, and I also have these on Amazon as a subscribe and save item. I use these not just for iced tea, but also for my hot tea because I like to use this. I like loose leaf tea, I prefer it. So if I'm using those, I take the tea sack, you have to open it up, and I put 5 scoops of tea in here also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you want to shake that down a little bit. And then the bottom, you want to open up it, unfold it. Then, to hold this in place, I take a chopstick, just poke it right through, and then I set this in a mason jar. This is a quart wide mouth mason jar. Then, this is boiling hot water that I am pouring in. So I pour that in, and I also pour it into the mason jar. And I don't fill it all the way because you need to leave room for sugar. But you also want to make sure you have your tea leaves covered. Now I'm going to prep 3 of these today because I like to try to prep all my tea for a whole week. And this way, when these are prepared, my daughter can just make tea herself. She knows that she can go to the fridge, get one of these jars, dump it into the pitcher, add water, and we're good to go. So once you have your hot water on there, pour a little more in here. We set a 5-minute timer. And when the 5 minutes is up, I will come back and we will push the plunger on the press and we will pull the tea bags out of the jars. I will see you in 5 minutes. Okay, our timer went off. Sorry about that. And so now we push the plunger on our French press. The tea bags that are hanging on our chopsticks, we pull out, we let the water drain for a couple seconds, and then I just put them in a bowl. Now, if you compost, you could put these in your compost. If not, just drain as much water as you can and then throw them in the trash can. Next, we want to take our pitcher and we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. No. So we have 1 cup of sugar. And then we pour our tea in. Then we give this a good stir. Get the sugar dissolved in the hot water. Then we fill it up with cold water. Okay, once your pitcher is full, you give it another quick stir. Add your lid. And you'll want to chill, but you could also drink some right now. You have a nice, delicious glass of iced tea. For our jars, I use a canning funnel. Put that in the jar. And I do that just so the sugar doesn't go everywhere. You don't necessarily have to have it. I think it's easier. And we add a cup of sugar to each of our jars. And then I just use a plain old butter knife to stir that sugar in. And once the sugar is dissolved, I just let it sit on the counter to cool for a little while. Then I put the lids on and put them in the fridge. And I try to use them within a week. I'm not sure how long they last. Mine are always used up within a week because, like I said, we drink a lot of sweet tea in this house. Okay, and for the lids, now normally if you were canning, you wouldn't reuse these lids, but since I am just using it to close the jars, you can reuse those. Put the screw band on, put it in the fridge. And then when you're ready to make the tea, you'll just pull this out of the fridge, pour it in your pitcher, add the difference in cold water, mix it up, and you're good to go. That's it. I hope you learned some little tips and tricks for making some sweet tea with loose leaf tea. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.